celebrates the 7th Texas Muslim Capital Day. We are honored. Thank you.
I proclaim the name of the Lord Jesus Christ over the capital of Texas. I stand against Islam and the false prophet Muhammad. Islam will never dominate the United States, and by the grace of God, it will not dominate Texas.
You get a monkey fossil, you beat a guy to death with it. Hello.
Clearly anti-poop.
I don't like most of these people.
So, Petey, how drunk are you? I'm going to unmute our mics.
And welcome to Atheist Airwaves, your no-filter look at current news and issues facing atheists and the atheist community. I'm Jay Guerrero. Christian's fucking everything up.
I am Jeff Rhyme.
And I'm Amanda Stevens.
And I'm fucking everything up. I gotta turn that down. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for Atheist Airwaves. We record live every Tuesday at 7:30 Central. So if you're listening via podcast, what the hell do you do on Tuesday nights? That's so important, and maybe we could do that too. Our intro audio this week is that same friggin' woman, Christine Weick. She's the woman who interrupted the Muslim prayer service at the National Cathedral, the woman who got a slushie thrown at her by a gay person while she was out being a homophobe, the woman who did the demonstration proving that Monster energy drinks are the work of Satan, and the woman who lives out of her car because her family says she's just too crazy to live with.
Hooray!
That woman.
Can someone just, tie her up so she stops doing these things?
Tie her up? They can't keep her out of these things. I mean... So this is the 7th annual
Muslim Capital Day.
Texas Capital Day celebration, and they're literally surrounded by cops. They're then surrounded by a ring of Muslims, and then there's a podium in the middle, and this woman just walks up. And I mean, you should recognize her from the cathedral and the Monster energy drink and the slushy thing.
You would think by now they would have, pamphlets passed out to everyone. Hey, if you see this woman, stop her.
Taser.
Please, I would pay money. I would donate a hefty sum to the Texas Rangers if they tased the crap out of that woman.
Like the football team?
And then another...
The baseball team.
And then another slushie.
You're the smartest boy in the whole world.
So there were a whole bunch of protesters outside that ring that the cops were protecting. I don't know why no cops showed up. I mean, they were wrestling with this woman, trying to get her away from the microphone. What did these people think they were protesting?
Just the fact that some people are Muslim, apparently.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. I mean, so they're out there saying Muhammad's a false prophet, but I mean, are they doing that when Hindus are? Maybe they are.
Well, they said this was the first year that there had been any protests for Capital Muslim Day at all. So it was just this chick got a bee in her bonnet this year and was like, haha, organizing counter protest because Islam. Yeah.
I'm not even going to say what I was going to think.
It's become way more fashionable, I think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think, they're listening to pundits and politicians who are peddling fear of, and not just fear, but hatred of Muslims.
Yes.
And, we're not shy about criticizing Islam, but I mean, there's a difference between allowing someone to practice their religion and exercise their rights freely and just being an asshole.
I mean, she's not really stopping them from exercising their rights. She's just being an asshole.
No, they were trying to shout him down. I mean,
were they?
Yeah, they invaded their space. I mean, that is, trying to prevent them from speaking.
I mean,
they shouted down the national anthem. The Muslims decided to, and they're shouting that down.
Really?
Yeah. It's they're literally being the most American that they could possibly be.
I'm not a violent person, but somebody needs to smack the shit out of her.
Yeah.
Wait, let's parse that statement. I'm not a violent person, but someone needs to assault her.
I'm not a violent person.
I do not recommend assaulting this woman, but if she got tased because she was breaking the law...
How is that not assault?
Well, because
it's electronic assault.
No, that's an assault. That is a police action to prevent someone from breaking the law.
Yeah, it took them forever to get her
show
off the
off.
mic. It was like, really?
Lightly tased.
Yeah. It was like, I think she could have been,
Like
restrained.
directions on the box for how to cook dinner with a taser.
Lightly tase. Yes. But the saddest thing to me was like there were all these people there like getting to see their state representatives and they're so excited about it, and like you could just see some of the kids just look like, oh, well, everyone hates us. This is cool.
Yeah, that's really super sad.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and it's so tone deaf because I love it when like it's basically Star Trek fans versus Star Wars fans. It's like, no, dilithium crystals don't exist, and the Force is with us, whatever. So I mean, it's like one group of idiots against another group of well-meaning Star Trek fans. And
I'm like, wrap up your metaphor, asshole.
there weren't just Christian assholes outside. There were some inside the state building too. Yeah. Freshman State Representative Molly White, who was out of the office that day, left instructions to her staff. So first they put an Israeli, and there were a bunch of Israeli flags in the crowd as well. So I don't know that they thought, I don't know what that was about. I mean, I guess they're conflating a whole bunch of things.
Islam is the enemy of Israel.
Yeah, something, I guess.
Somehow.
But then she instructed them to, quote, ask representatives from the Muslim community that may come in to renounce Islamic terrorist groups and publicly announce allegiance to America and our laws. And she said, we will see how long they stay in my office.
We both just like open our mouths. Shit. I think it's interesting because like right-wing Christian terrorism has been on the rise for the last several years. It is now far more prevalent than Muslim terrorism.
At least in our country.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course she issued no such directive to Christian constituents.
Christians who may come in, pledge allegiance to the United States and distance yourself from abortion doctor killers. And
Promise not to blow up an abortion clinic today, guys, okay?
This isn't even the most outrageous thing she's ever done in the last year. Last June, she pledged that one of her top priorities, again, this is her first year as a representative, one of her top priorities this year would be to purge Texas of all of the Muslim military training camps.
Yep.
And I am so glad someone's tackling this problem because I can barely get out of my driveway with all the Muslims going over the monkey bars and the under the barbed wire and stuff. I mean, it's a big problem.
Yeah. It's definitely proliferating.
Yeah. I think
no more stout for you.
Time for the bourbon.
Yeah, there's a crop of nonsensical laws this year, like hers, and then of course like the religious freedom bill, and then Donna Campbell filed a bill to keep the Alamo from ever being transferred to international control.
Wait, what?
Yeah, because she doesn't understand that the UN honors his historical heritage sites, and they wanted to honor the Alamo, and she seemed to think that meant that the UN was going to take over the Alamo.
I don't know. I kind of want to make a website.
What's the UN going to do with the Alamo?
I want to make a
Build
website.
a terrorist training camp.
Like you do. I want to make a website and a petition to give the Alamo to the Mexicans because we surrendered it fair and square.
I like it. Let's do that.
And then just watch the heads explode in Austin. We did surrender the Alamo, so I mean we all remember the Alamo, right? She also, just to cap this off, she also stated last year that Muslims cannot be trusted no matter how peaceful they may appear, which is just crazy town. All right, so I had a few things to choke on.
Yay.
Oh, yeah?
Post show. We'll talk about all
No, that's way after post show. We got to get to your house first, buddy.
I had a few things to get to before we get to the news. So first, Daniel Moran is going to be joining us in about 20 minutes to talk about his campaign for Texas State Representative and the Texas Secular Convention that all of you should register for immediately. That's at the end of this month.
That's when I get to nap, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And if someone could tell Christine Weick about the Texas Secular Convention so we could get her there, I would love to lightly tase her myself. That would be amazing.
Oh, that would be awesome.
You dinged.
Is that me? It is me.
So.
Jerks. I also wanted to thank everyone for supporting our show. We had more listens in the month of January than in any other month we've ever had.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
I know, right? Not only that, but we had more listens in January of this year than in January, February, March, and April combined last year. So that's kind of how...
That's awesome. You know what that means?
What?
You have to keep doing things.
It means I have to say something blasphemous. It's going to piss everyone off and drive those numbers back down.
Anyway, thank you for supporting our show, and thank you for putting up with Jay. We got a lot of listener mail over the last week, too. And there was one I wanted to read. And in fact, this guy, you would like him because he said that while he disagrees with you, I'm going to exaggerate. I think he said 60 to 70% of whatever. But he disagrees with everything you say. But he said he likes hearing people yell at you. So
Who doesn't?
So that's what Jay's function is on the show. So this guy was just catching up on the series of episodes we did where we were talking a lot about the military versus the police and all of that stuff. And he had a lot of things to say, and it was an interesting conversation. But I wanted to read this part because it really, for me, was sobering and thought-provoking, and it's just his personal experiences over in Iraq. And I think it really puts a face to it and helps, at least me, remember that these are real people that are over there. So his email reads, quote, "I'm a geek who joined the Army to be a radio soldier and to get some free college. Once I got to Iraq 1 month after training, I was tasked off to an infantry unit and had to clear buildings, go on patrols, do convoy security. At the ages of 18 and 19, it was the scariest stuff I had ever done. I sometimes literally cried because of how scared I was. I gained and lost a lot of good friends during my time. I was in firefights and had one hand-to-hand situation that was mostly luck that I survived it, and I thank Jesus for saving me." That is Jesus, last name, my friend. See, it's a little Mexican Jesus joke for you there, Jay.
Okay, that was very confusing, but okay, thank you.
Okay. He has a friend named Jesus who saved him from...
Oh, okay, gotcha. I thought he
Anyway.
was actually thanking Jesus. I'm like,
No.
why the fuck is he listening to our show?
It works better written than it does...
Okay, I'm sure it does.
Anyway, when we got back from Iraq, I went back to my communications unit, and no one could quite relate to my experiences at all. Am I having trouble shooting a weapon because of the memories of actually having to use it? My fear of explosions, the smell of gunpowder, gun oil, oddly enough, burnt chicken smells similar enough to burnt human flesh. I was quickly ostracized as a broken soldier. Some soldiers thought I was exaggerating because communications soldiers don't go into combat. I unfortunately did have situations where I had to take others' lives, and I have a lot of grief and nightmares about it. But I'm being judged and looked at differently by soldiers that were never even close to having to make that decision. They exist in large numbers relative to the ones that had to make my decisions. I never once thought, however, that my purpose was to go there and kill people. Most of our missions were to protect other soldiers, protect various important locations in the city, Mosul, sometimes protecting locals or going to capture key individuals. Some side effects of us being there resulted in the taking of people's lives, but I didn't feel that was our main purpose. Also, just as a public service announcement, I'm telling people for conversational etiquette reasons. I'm not assuming your group would, but I find too many people do without even thinking of it. Never ask a veteran if they have shot or killed someone. If they have, it should be a rather traumatic situation that comes to hurt for years or sneaks up on people and hits them all at once when they finally accept what happened. If they haven't, then a lot of them like to brag and show off what didn't happen. So either way, many times you are not going to get the correct answer from either group. But seriously, why do people think this is an okay question to ask human up people?
Completely agree with him on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really liked this email. I think it brought out some really, interesting stuff, especially with American Sniper being out recently and the kind of the feelings that have come up with that, and anybody criticizing that as being racist or whatever, getting super attacked over it. And I saw another article, and I should have tagged it and brought it up here, but it was like a Huffington Post or a Salon article, one of those, and it was somebody responding saying, "Look, I was a sniper in Iraq too."
I saw that.
Yeah, and it was excellent, and saying, "Look, that might have been Chris Kyle's version of reality. It might have been what it really seemed like, but that's that's not what every person over there who was a sniper felt, and I knew a lot of them." And that's not really representative of an experience of an American soldier either. It's not fair to say that all of us feel this way or saw every one of the potential enemy as being somebody that's a savage. That's just not the way we thought.
Yeah, and Chris Kyle, I think yesterday was Chris Kyle Day here in Texas, right? Our new governor did that, but Chris Kyle is kind of a jackhole. I mean, the guy's a liar it seems like, pretty routinely. And I mean, even this guy was saying, this doesn't quite square with what I know of, other people. And
anyone who's going to take that experience and monetize it, I have a lack of respect for.
I don't know.
In the fashion that he did it. The very machismo,
yes.
I'm a badass in America and we killed people and we're going to keep fucking killing them. I don't respect that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he kind of took a J a J tack with it, which I don't really like. I have no problem with people monetizing. Yeah, I'm taking shots at you.
What the fuck?
He said racist things and all of that stuff. I have no problem with people monetizing their personal experiences, especially when it's an experience that I think we can all learn from. But I do have a problem with his attitude. I think
it's a very cowboy, go get him kind of thing. It's just not
even giving him the benefit of the doubt, and he's lying about most of it. The fact that he thinks that that would be cool tells me he's a jackass. He was a jackass.
He was a douche, bro.
Okay. So less seriously, a listener uploaded a song over on the Atheist Airwaves Facebook page today that he put together from snippets of us trying to pronounce the Irish things from last episode.
Nice.
I nearly died, so I wanted to play that real quick. Maybe.
Mananan. Monanan.
I love that.
That's good.
So, if you have personal experiences you'd like to share with us, or you'd like to mock our inability to pronounce things,
mock us all together, please.
Or express outrage about whatever Jay says in the next hour and a half, please write to us at god@atheistairwaves.com. I'm about to mute the microphone because Jay's going to say something.
I'm not going to say anything crazy. I'm just saying, I am due for one.
It has been a while.
That clock is ticking.
We do have a new high listenership, so you need to take care of some, weed out the good people.
Yeah, it's like the Corpus, hurricane ticker. We're overdue.
Oh, yeah, we're way overdue. All right, let's get to news.
Okay, first off, we have a follow-up on a story from about a month ago. The Christian blogger Veronica Partridge says she's now under attack from Satan after the response from a blog post that she had claiming that she was going to stop wearing leggings because they tempt men. And if you guys saw this post, it was a nice little, it was a nice post saying that basically just that she was doing this for the consideration of her husband, and she sat down and talked to her husband about it after a discussion with her friends and church folks. And the post went viral, and people responded to it, I think rightfully so. And
we responded to it.
Yeah, well, and it drew criticism, and now she's attributing all of that to Satan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Really? Satan loves leggings. I don't know if you're aware.
Satan turned yogurt pants into lingerie, apparently.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish, because it's a one-off. So this reporter wrote that she said to them, "I think my husband is happy and supportive of my decision, but because of the media attention, I think that we're under attack from Satan." When someone says something like that, I wish the reporter would go, "Wow, that sounds really crazy. Can you maybe explain to me?
Yeah.
How is Satan doing this to you?" And, because basically she's attributing to Satan, "I said a thing that people thought was messed up, and
Therefore, Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Well, and I'm not sure about this source either, because it's Christian Post. I really could not figure after reading these whether these are ones that are meant to bring out how ridiculous stuff is, because everything on here is ridiculous, or if it's something that's actually done in support, because it really does tell the whole story of it, and it doesn't emphasize. The only place that it actually says anything about Satan and the actual write-up on it is the title. And it describes the entire story about it, but doesn't really go into detail about that claim.
Right. It's just her. Yeah. It's just her saying that. But I think that's just one of those things that Christians say, like this Christine Weick person, "I proclaim the name of Jesus over the Capitol," or whatever. It's like
that does shit.
Right. What does that even mean? That means nothing.
Yeah.
Anybody that's going to take the opposite position has obviously got to be aligned with Satan.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Obviously. Well, I mean, we are aligned with Satan, so, I mean, she saw right through us.
Astronomically, anyway.
I go line dancing with Satan, actually.
Oh, man. Line dancing is of Satan. I firmly believe that. Or any establishment that would entertain it. Yes.
I think most forms of dancing, frankly, are.
Yes.
I mean, according to the pastor in Footloose. So, my favorite response though was the lady who like commented on her original post, I think it was, and she basically said like, "Hey, dudes, I love a man in a nicely tailored suit. So I'm going to ask for help from my brothers in Christ and ask you to not wear those bomb-ass suits because it gets me all hot and bothered.
I just want to throw you down, yes, and take advantage of you."
Pretty much.
Yeah. I liked, when she said, when your pants are tailored and just a little too tight, I'm going to notice.
If you guys had actually looked at that, though, and investigated further, you would have seen that was actually Satan.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pseudonym.
It's a pseudonym, yeah, exactly. Ridiculous. Okay. So, Texas has the best schools, right, guys? That's the way that works?
Absolutely.
We're known for it, yes.
Okay.
Have you heard of the Texas State Board of Education? Everyone's heard of them. You know why? Because
they're the best. So the Kermit Texas Elementary School might be just a tad overprotective and overpunitive. There's one 9-year-old kid who's been having some issues since his parents moved him to the town. It's like 6 months ago or so. He's been suspended 3 times. The latest time because after watching The Lord of the Rings with his family a few days prior, he and his buddy were, I guess, playing around at recess or something, and he proclaimed that he could make him disappear by putting his one ring on his head. Now, of course, that one ring to rule them all crap or whatever's from the Lord of the Rings deal.
Crap.
Whatever, it's from a fictional series. No, this is perfectly normal for kids. I mean, it's the make-believe, it's the normal thing. His parents are kind of baffled, and I suspect they're pissed, but I think his dad is handling it really, really well. Yeah. In part of his email, he says, "I assure you, my son lacks the magical powers necessary to threaten his friend's existence. If he did, I'm sure he'd bring him right back."
I am sort of torn on this story because on the one hand, I'm offended that this school is going to suspend this child for using magic powers or threatening to use magic powers. On the other hand, I'm also really offended that they don't seem to understand how the One Ring works. It doesn't make you disappear. It doesn't make other people disappear. It doesn't make people disappear at all. It makes you invisible. So
Clearly they're not up on their fictional crap.
Exactly. And I just feel like if you're a school administrator who's going to be the arbiter of what sorts of magical items are allowed in school and which aren't, that you should at least have some foundation in understanding how they work.
Wait, you want them to study things?
Yes.
Do you know what these other suspensions were for?
No.
One of them was because he called a kid black.
A black kid?
Was it that word?
Yeah, apparently he called a kid black. That's according to the article I read. He called a schoolmate black.
Okay.
Yes.
In school suspension, bam. And the other one was because he wanted to impress his teachers and brought a book to school called The Big Book of Knowledge. And
can't have that in school.
Heaven forbid it had the image of a pregnant woman.
Are you lying?
In this book?
Are you lying to me?
Seriously?
No.
And the image of a pregnant woman. Mm-hmm. So it had a chapter on pregnancy. And it wasn't even what he was bringing it about. He was like trying to study the solar system in class. And
was it,
hey, I'm going to impress my teacher and show her this book and this thing. And she's like, oh my God, pregnant woman.
Well, no wonder they suspended him.
Well, but here's what they don't tell you. It was a picture of a pregnant woman getting an abortion. So, I mean...
well, they don't do that in Texas.
Semi-pregnant woman?
That's got to be like just atrocious to see. I mean, they don't even have clinics here in Texas
anymore,
I know, right? So I'm sure it had to be a coat hanger.
Oh, I know. It's like that poor woman in Oklahoma. Oh, she had to go to Oklahoma. That's no one should be forced to go to Oklahoma for anything.
Ever. Yeah.
Wait, doesn't Daryl Ray live in Oklahoma?
Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Close. It's basically northern Oklahoma.
Northern nowhere. Let's just say that.
North Oklahoma.
Oklahoma is like the pants of Kansas.
Kansas ain't wearing no pants.
Not in the cornfield, anyway.
Oh, dear.
We should move on.
Yeah. So, next story. Great news, guys. Atheists are no longer the most hated minority.
Woo-hoo! We're not number one.
No. Well, and technically,
We're super close.
technically, we are number one. But if you break it down amongst Democrats and Republicans, we're not actually the most hated. Democrats hate us pretty well. We're like second most hated. And the same with the Republicans. It's just that they both have different number ones. If you combine the two different two different numbers, you'll see that we're actually the most hated overall.
Oh man.
Yeah. But if
Why you gotta be a water party?
if you're well, at least among Democrats, we're second to Mormons.
Which yeah.
I was a little surprised. I mean, Mormons are well. I think the best I could do was this is some blowback from Romney.
That's what I'm thinking.
I really think that it is. I think that there was a little bit extra hate directed towards the Mormons from Democrats from Romney's bid.
I figured it was like the multiple wives thing that did it.
I don't.
No, I doubt
know
it.
that
I
have
think
a
it's all
problem with
political
that.
because the on the Republican side.
Yeah. The Republican side, it's of course Muslims,
Right.
and that's really no
Duh.
surprise.
I mean-
and I mean there was like a 1 percentage point difference there. So, but at least somebody.
There's
Most people don't hate atheists the most. So
Yay.
yeah.
Yeah, I had someone ask me one time, like, what's a Mormon? Is it like a cult? Because my cousin
Yes.
like joined this Mormon thing, and she's getting married now, and I think she's in a cult. And I was just like, how do I say this without saying no more than your religion is?
I think you just say that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
the proper answer.
Well, it's not officially a cult unless there's a compound. If there's a compound, then it's like officially a cult.
Have you heard of Salt Lake City?
Fair enough.
The Vatican.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Y'all are
They
both right.
all have them. The other interesting thing about this survey to me was the fact that if you looked at opinions,
Why would we do that?
Republicans liked religious groups a lot more than Democrats ever did. So they expressed a lot more love and a lot more hate. So their spectrum was a lot longer. There's a lot more love and a lot more hate. They loved the evangelical Christians above all else, and Jews were somewhat of a distant second over there. And Democrats loved the Jews and Catholics, so those were there too. But it was interesting to me that for Democrats, the love and hate were much more centralized. It was all grouped together, and the Republicans, they were just like, burning people at the stake hate and making out in the barn love.
Well, and the Republicans did also. The Republicans actually loved Jews and Catholics more than the Democrats did. But like you said, it's a bigger spectrum. So
50. When is our guest on?
2 minutes. We can. I think I've got one other thing because the article I was reading about this. The writer interviewed a professor of missions and world religions at Mercer University's McAfee School of Theology. His name is Rob Nash. And Rob said that all of the negativity that Republicans have about Islam is really about their lack of understanding about Islam, which I agree with that point. But he stated that, Muslims overseas don't hate us because they hate Christianity. It's because of the secularization of society and dismissal of religion that they hate. So he's blaming atheists for the reason that Republicans hate Muslims more.
Okay.
If you're going to unzip, just do it. Okay. I was pausing for you to unzip. Push up.
Those are sound clips.
Let's get why don't you break it? I'll get our guest on the line.
All right, I will do that momentarily if I have to find this thing. Okay, so Corpus Christi Atheist meets every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. This weekend we're going to be at Surf Club. Apparently, it's going to be Surf Club.
Nope.
That's what I didn't think.
BJ's.
Yeah, you tried to screw me last week. You're screwing me again this week, buddy.
You're in charge of your own show sheet, bro.
Well, you unzipped. I mean, come on.
Okay. Anyway, so we're going to be meeting at Pastrano's Taqueria or whatever the hell it was. I'm kidding. It's going to be B&J's. B&J's as normal every other Sunday. Surf Club, then B&J's. If you don't know where that is, visit ccatheist.com. It's going to be the one off of SBID near Airline.
Correct.
You can also visit southtexascor.com for all our other stuff.
Uh-huh.
Should I continue talking while we call Daniel Moran?
Nah.
Should I continue?
I'm just going to
sure?
edit it out.
Hi, Daniel.
Hello.
Hey, Daniel. How you doing, sir? Can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh. You know what?
Let's try this. Hello, can you hear me?
It's me. Hold on. He can't hear me saying that.
Say something, Jay.
Hi.
Jay can't hear. He can't hear Jay either.
Oh.
Hi.
Well, it sounded like you could hear Jay for a minute.
Input. Boom.
Told you.
Can you hear us now?
Fucking all the
No.
Can you type to him and say, hey, hold on?
I was trying to do that, but I thought.
Hey, good job. Way to drop the call, buddy.
It's working on our end.
It's actually hot in here for once. Holy shit.
Let me try this.
Why art thou shaking thine head?
She's denying it.
I deny thee, Satan.
Don't blow my cover.
That's why you have fancy headphones.
Okay, it's working.
Yes, the work of Satan.
Ringing,
You have
button
to fit
output.
them over your horns.
Can you hear us now? Hello? Let me try and plug in this for a second. Can you hear us, Daniel? No.
Best interview.
All right, let me.
This is like a throwback to the days when we had him on before. Skype, how difficult can it be to figure out?
Such professionalism.
Very difficult. There's a way to do like a. Sorry, chat room, and everyone listening to this on YouTube. This really sucks.
Can somebody cue up some like Jeopardy music or something? You're playing Wheel of Fortune. It's the wrong game.
No, I'm playing Trivia Crack.
Oh.
Did you say
What's
Wheel of
What's up,
Fortune?
Because I'm really good at Trivia
It
Crack.
is so fucking hot in here. I can't even.
I love it. This is amazing. I'm having to strip
It's the
down.
worst fucking thing
Fucking
ever.
awesome.
No
This
one
is not
else
what I
is.
paid for when I came
Well,
to
you're
Shay.
the one with like the crazy cold disease.
I know. That's why I'm still wearing my coat.
Oh.
And I have little hand thingies on.
I don't know how to do a test call anymore. How do you do that on Skype now? You know what we can do?
Learn how to Skype?
Well, I mean, I could call him on the phone. It's going to be kind of hard for him to hear us, but we've done it before. I mean, not since probably.
Will it record it?
Yeah, I just plugged it into the.
Oh, okay,
thing.
so it's going through the board. Good.
Oh. Duh.
It may be on his end at this point. Atheist Airwaves is experiencing technical difficulties.
Please
Isn't that-
stand
wasn't last
by.
one? Best break. Or something, I don't know. This is the worst.
The worst ever.
Well,
I blame Ferris.
I blame the Terps.
Yep.
It's her fault.
I'm going to go to Turkey this year. I'm very excited about it.
For what?
I'm going to go to Athens, and then I'm going to take flight over to Istanbul for a couple days and just
Cool.
hang out in Istanbul.
Just
see
pleasure?
some mosques and stuff.
Cool.
It's going to be awesome.
can you hear us now, Daniel?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you. It's kind
Okay.
of scratchy, but I can hear you now.
Okay, good. It may be a little scratchy. It might be hard for you to hear other people. I'm not sure, but we'll give this a try.
Sorry.
Hi, Daniel.
Sorry, what did you say? This thing is very scratchy. It's
All
very
right.
hard for me to hear you, actually.
Is your phone a piece of crap?
No, we always have this problem with the soundboard. I don't know why. Let me.
Why is Skype not working?
I don't know.
If you want to try calling me again on Skype, it may work. I've unplugged some things, and hopefully it'll work.
Okay, we'll try that.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
Atheist Airwaves is experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Christian is experiencing technical difficulties.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Okay, Han Solo.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear
Awesome!
Excellent.
Cue clap track.
All right. Well, I'll let everyone introduce themselves. There's no way you'll keep our names straight, but just for giggles, I'm Christian.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Jay.
I've already forgotten them.
Excellent.
Hooray!
Perfect. Who were you again?
I don't know. Who am I?
All right. Well,
Satan.
I'm glad you asked. I'm going to do a quick intro for you, and then we'll get going here finally. Daniel Moran joins us again tonight. Daniel was actually the first atheist guest we ever had on this show way back in 2013, which is about 60 episodes ago now. We had him on after he challenged his congressman at a town hall meeting and was almost tarred and feathered by the crowd for existing while being atheist. He is also the founder of the Secular Student Alliance at the University of North Texas, and of course, he famously ran for Texas State Representative in 2014. Welcome back to the show, Daniel.
Thanks for having me.
Glad Skype is working for us finally.
Why does it suddenly feel like a game
That is a
show?
good thing. I don't know what it is with technology. It might be that I have a Mac. Who knows?
We have many of them, so I don't know. Who knows?
And by we, he means he.
Right. I'm collecting all of the Macs. So, first of all, we want to congratulate you on your campaign. Obviously, you lost, but you ran as an openly atheist, bisexual, genderqueer candidate, and you outperformed your opponent's 2012 challenger by almost 10 percentage points in Texas, in one of the most conservative districts in Texas. So you have to be proud of that, right?
I am very proud, and you don't have to win every fight to make a difference. Obviously, I didn't win this time, and I look forward to running again in 2016 for the same position. And even if I don't win, I'm still making a difference.
Yeah, I mean, it must have changed the conversation a little. Did he even agree to debate you at all ever?
No, he didn't agree to debate me, and he also didn't show up to any of the candidate forums, which is usually the semi-ish debates that pretty much you're all going to see in the more rural suburban areas of North Texas. It's mostly just private groups like the NAACP or the League of Women Voters holding a candidate forum where you don't actually debate your opponents, but he didn't show up to a single one.
So he's just a big twat.
Well, he doesn't have to, right? I mean,
I wouldn't say that my opponent was that.
yes.
I would
That's
say
for
that
us to do.
Exactly.
He wasn't worried about losing. He knew he was in a really conservative district. I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. If he came out and went to any of these candidate forums, it would just legitimize me, and he didn't want to do that.
Yeah, and our U.S. congressman did the same thing in our district. I mean, for U.S. Congress, he just wouldn't show up to anything because he didn't have to. So
Exactly, they don't have to fear it. So anything they say in a candidate forum might come back to bite them. And Tan Parker is not shy of saying odd things when he's in front of people.
oh, really? I really don't know much about him, to be honest with you.
So he's like me?
Yeah, right.
Probably a lot like our U.S. representative.
Well, you might have heard Tan Parker's name, and I can commend my opponent for this position, that he is actually he's the chair of the Corrections Committee in the state of Texas, which basically deals with prisons and the like. He came out in favor of medicinal marijuana.
Wow.
So I commend him for that. And he has made national headlines as a Republican in a very conservative district coming out in favor of this stuff. And I can commend him for that. Of course, there are things I agree and disagree with him on, but, I think he put it best, actually, when he said we need to build these left-right alliances in order to get things done for the safety of our children. Because he was talking about how medicinal marijuana, especially Marinol, which is the pill form of medicinal marijuana, is used to help treat children with epilepsy.
Oh,
Interesting. So that must have made the campaign a little odd for you. What was the experience like? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
The experience was stressful, to say the least. It was my first time running for any position. I've worked on campaigns in the past. In 2012, I worked on a congressional campaign. I did the campaign's social media and the like. But running a campaign, being the candidate, is a whole new ball game. It was... I don't know how to describe it other than stressful, really.
I mean, you said you were planning on doing it again in 2016, so there must have been some positives to you didn't completely hate it.
The positives, I mean, I didn't completely hate it. I wouldn't say that. It was a great experience. I learned a lot about the political process, about how things work when you are actually on the campaign trail. I mean, you always have those people who are like, yeah, if I was running for office, I would just say all the truths all the time, and I would be the most abrasive candidate ever. And I thought the exact same thing until I decided to run. And then you realized, oh, I just kind of can't do that as much as I want. And I try to, hold up to that standard I used to see in what I would like to see in candidates, where they would just say what they actually thought. And I would say every time what I thought on these issues. But I had to understand also that sometimes you just can't talk about certain issues. Sometimes they just aren't favoring of you no matter what. Like I'm not going to talk about gay marriage all that much as I am a complete proponent of it, because it's just not an issue for people of House District 63. What's an issue for us is things like fracking, things like schools and taxes. So I just had to focus on these issues. So you learn that not everything you wish you could do, you can do, unfortunately.
Do you really think that that would really do you think that would have impacted the results of your campaign if you had been more open about things like that? I just wonder, because we have the same thing down here. Our Democrat running for Congress ran so hard away from anything that had even the letters LGBTQ in it, and I managed to publicly shame him into putting it onto his website for a little while, but he quietly took it back down. He got destroyed anyway, and I'm just wondering. It makes me, and I'm a little bit of an extremist, but it makes me less likely to vote for those people, because there are things that I believe deeply in, and I just don't see that. How much worse can you lose?
Exactly. Well, it's not about how exactly more badly could I have lost. It's just that I'm trying to represent the people of my district, and I'm trying to get their votes. I have to care about the issues they care about. And there are obviously, because these are my neighbors, these are my friends and family, there are issues I care about too, such as especially fracking, which is a very hot topic in North Texas. As you know, Denton, which unfortunately was not in my district, but is a close city to our district, it borders us, they banned fracking in city limits recently in the 2014 election, which was funny because the Democratic candidate in that House district, which covers all of Denton, lost pretty well. Democratic candidate got like 33%, but the fracking ban got 60% of the vote in Denton. So you saw this.
And that seems to kind of mirror what we saw across the country, where Republicans were winning elections, but liberal issues were winning on the ballots, whether it's marijuana or gay rights or anything else.
I think it was the New Yorker. I think it was Andy Borowitz who said Americans want higher minimum wage, pot, gay marriage, fracking bans, and they want GOP representation to bring it all to them.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me. And
it doesn't really, but at the same time, I'm glad to see while candidates themselves may lose the elections, they're still making a difference. But also these ballot initiatives are happening, and they're truly making a difference for the people of states like Arkansas that raised the minimum wage, or Nebraska, or Alaska, which legalized recreational pot.
Yeah. And I don't want to belabor the point, because I'm amusing myself, because you just finished saying that. Before you ran for office, you're like, "Oh, just say all the things," and then when you were running, you're like, "I can't say all the things." And here I am. I've never run for anything. I'm like, "Just say all the things."
Yeah, I did say all the things that I thought were relevant. Some things you realize just aren't relevant to that election or to that district. There were gay constituents in my district, but most of them got married out of state and don't really care for the issues. They care about, local issues, about taxes, about schools. They want to see their children, because yes, most of them do have children. They want to see their children go to good schools, and they want to see the state properly fund these schools. Texas has been sued a ridiculous number of times because of by a ridiculous number of school districts, because they refused to properly fund education in the state, and they lost in the court battles, and now the legislature is going to have to readdress school finance, and that's going to be fun to see, because they're also cutting taxes.
Yeah, Yeah, well, we've never made much sense in Texas. It's not our strong suit.
I think we make a lot of sense, just not to the rest of the country.
Right.
we're Texas.
We have an internal logic.
Sorry?
I said we have an internal logic that only Texas understands. Yeah, I get it.
I don't understand half of the crap these politicians are doing.
Jay is the least political person you will ever encounter in your life. So,
does he vote?
No.
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 Great question.
For me.
Yeah, it is for me too.
We can't be friends unless you vote.
That's fine. We don't have to be friends.
We actually we're making baby steps because we actually made him get registered this year. So
I made him get registered.
Someday.
We're gonna say that.
Tell him if you don't register.
So it's baby steps towards getting him into an actual voting booth.
Votes matter.
Yes, votes,
especially in local elections.
I agree. Local elections, I'll agree with. Yeah.
Okay. So last July, you wrote what I thought was a great piece on JT Eberhard's blog entitled Why I Feel Left Out by My Own Party, which is about the Texas Democratic Party, obviously. And that piece really resonated with me when I read it, especially, I'm kind of a carpetbagger. I'm a Yankee living in South Texas, and the Democratic Party. Yeah, right.
He's a carpetbagger.
I'll explain history to you later, Jay. Can you briefly sum up your feelings and observations about the party and the state convention you were writing about?
Yeah, so the piece, which I wrote for What Would JT Do, which is the blog on Atheist by JT Eberhard, who's a good friend of mine. So after the Texas Democratic Convention, actually I think I wrote it while it was still going on, and then posted it a few days later because I was hesitant about posting it. Basically, I didn't like the level of religiosity that I saw at the Texas Democratic Convention. And this was, what was surprising is, we're always seeing, the Democrats at least, are this godless liberal party that's in this constant cultural war with the good old Christians and of the Republican Party. But really, I think Houston Mayor Anise Parker summed it up quite well when she said, "We are the party of faith, family, and freedom," or something like that. And Mayor Anise Parker is openly gay and championed the Houston Equal Rights Ordinance that is currently in trial, or not in trial, is on trial right now because I guess certain religious people on the right didn't like that they couldn't be allowed to discriminate against gay people. But Mayor Anise Parker was addressing the Democratic Convention saying these things, and I just found it ironic because a few years ago she probably would not have been very welcome at that party being an openly lesbian.
Yeah.
But me as an atheist, I'm told to keep my atheism to myself. I'm told constantly to hush it down, to not make a big deal out of it. And I didn't make a big deal out of it during the campaign. I championed issues like fracking and tax reform and raising the minimum wage. But for some reason, just the religiosity of the Texas Democratic Convention just irked me. It made me feel, I guess you could say, icky inside.
Sure.
Not because I have a problem with people of faith, but because I just see what they're doing as counterintuitive.
Well, and also I think that what I got out of your piece and what I think is really worth noting is that, especially the Democratic Party tries to use a lot of language of inclusiveness. And I think we've seen, we've been included by our President Obama, quite a bit. He refers to us, when he refers to people of faith, he usually tags on people of no faith at all.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, but really, it's really not enough. I mean, I even mentioned in the piece, the DNC and President Obama supported the ruling in the town of Greece versus Galloway, which was a Supreme Court case where it was established that you could have town hall meetings, and that they could be completely sponsored by the city or the state. So even President Obama, who is himself a Christian, was kind of...
Actually, I think he's a Muslim. I think I've heard he's a Muslim down here.
Actually, more people actually believe he's Jewish.
What? Really?
There is a poll out there. I'm sure I could find it if I Googled it, but more people actually think he's Jewish. I don't know why.
That is super weird, especially with the way Israel feels about each other right now.
Yeah, Netanyahu is not a big fan of Obama right now. But yeah, the piece basically made the point of the Democrats are a little too religious, not because there's a problem with religion itself, but it's excluding a lot of people who are becoming more and more secular. And as we know, demographics are changing. 1 in 5 adults claims no religious affiliation, whether they be atheist, agnostic, or nothing in particular. 1 in 3 of people under 30, including myself, and I have no idea how many of you are under 30, but raise your hand that we can't see if you are.
Unfortunately, it doesn't vote.
This as well.
But
it's just the language of inclusiveness was kind of thrown under the bus.
Yeah.
When they kept talking about faith. But every time I talk to anyone almost at the Texas Democratic Convention, they pretty much all said, or at least a huge chunk of them said, yeah, I'm an atheist, but I keep it quiet because for whatever reason. Yeah. My own party, my own county party, told me to keep it quiet. That's why I say in the piece, I'm told to keep my mouth shut on my atheism and not make a big deal out of it. I was told that by officials in my county party.
And what was your reaction to that? I mean, it doesn't seem like you followed their advice.
I didn't. And in fact, I was actually more gung-ho about it. And again, I didn't run on the fact that, hey, I'm an atheist, you should totally vote for me, because that's not going to get you votes. What's going to get you votes is caring about the issues people care about. And I did. But the thing was, being told by my own party, hey, keep it quiet, just made me be like, no, I think I'm going to care more about this issue and about secular values and all that fun stuff. And what's funny is the people who told me this, majority of them are atheists themselves. They're in the closet, though, and they're party officials. I won't out them because they're in the closet, and that's not nice to do.
Yeah, I got to tell you, when we last talked, the last time you were on our show, we were actually on Corpus Christi Community Radio, and the board there came to us and said, because basically most of the regular content on that radio station was either atheist programming or gay programming. Everyone else was kind of not pulling their weight, and they asked us to hide the fact that there was so much gay and atheist stuff on the air
that we were producing. And
right.
We did everything for them. That's a whole different diatribe we could go into.
Right. So
that's not going to fly well.
Yeah, no. And so we walked away from it, and I think that I am super happy that you told them to shove it. And I mean, like I said, you represented a.
I didn't tell them to shove it
per
se.
Just,
told me to keep it quiet. I just basically ignored their emails.
Right. Let me put words in your mouth because I'm going to make you sound like a total badass. Okay, check this out. This is what Daniel Moran told Denton County Democrats. No kidding. No. So what do you think, and maybe this is a leading question, because but what do you think the positive impact of your candidacy has been?
I think the attention it's given the secular movement. I mean, as we saw in Arizona as well, James Wood, who was running for Congress as an open atheist, one of the first to ever do so in the country, and he was also legally blind, and I can commend him for all of those things, for running for Congress and for what he believes in. I think more and more we're going to see people across the country who are going to do what James and I did. We're going to we're going to say, we're atheists, or we're agnostic, or we're humanists, or something like that, or we don't believe in anything. Along those lines, we don't do religion.
Right.
So let's focus on the actual issues. Let's focus on tax reform. Let's focus on funding our schools. Let's focus on fixing our broken roads, which in Texas there are a lot of broken roads. Unfortunately, I don't know how the roads are down in Corpus Christi.
Oh my God!
Just here in North Texas, they are awful.
Yeah,
absolutely awful.
My car is stuck in a pothole right now. So
I got a friend. Their car got swallowed by a pothole.
Yeah.
They fell.
It's like driving on the moon down here, really.
It's pretty bad, and that's why I'm glad Proposition 1 passed in November, which is going to put $1 billion towards our infrastructure each year. So yeah, that's at least a good thing that came out of the election, even though most of the people I had voted for did not win.
Yeah, it was a bloodbath this year.
Yeah, Democrats did not do so well across the country, unfortunately.
So yeah, you kind of answered that question the way I hoped you would, because I think that what you're, and I, like you said, this is a tremendous amount of stress, and I'm sure a lot of flipping work for you to do. But I think you and James Wood is contributing to making atheism boring, and I think that the more atheists are just boring to other people, the more progress we'll make. So I think.
Yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just thank you for contributing your blood, sweat, and tears to that.
Well, there was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, unfortunately, but that's actually what I'm going to be talking about at the Texas Secular Convention that's coming up in late February, early March. Is the importance of people running as atheists, whether or not they make a big deal about it. But yeah, as you said, to make atheism boring.
Yeah.
To make it a non-issue. Just like being gay now these days is not an issue. And, Mayor Anise Parker perfectly embodies that being gay is not an issue anymore, especially since she's the mayor of the 4th largest city in America. You have gay politicians all across the United States, some here in Texas. State Representative Mary Gonzalez in El Paso, she's the first pansexual ever elected to any office in the country.
Right.
You have obviously Harvey Milk back in the 70s, who was the first gay man. You have trans people being elected to positions. You have all people of the LGBTQ spectrum, alphabet, whatever you want to call it, being elected. That's what I want to see happen to secularists. I want to see atheists and agnostics openly run for office and make it so that it's not an issue anymore. Whether they're running for school board or for Congress or for anything in between, it should be a non-issue for people.
I wholeheartely agree. So you're going to be talking at the rally, I think Friday, Friday, February 27th.
Yes, it's going to be a quick speech on the steps of the Capitol, the Capitol that I wish I was in right now.
You were working there. Just walk out of your office and onto the steps.
I wish, but well, we're also going to be having several other speeches on the Capitol steps, but we're also, and I think this is a very important thing, we're going to actually be meeting with our legislators. So hopefully most of the people coming are going to actually be from Texas so they can meet with their representatives. So I'm probably going to be meeting with my opponent, former opponent, but soon to be opponent again, hopefully.
Well, hopefully he'll show up this time.
Well, we had some people who didn't show up to the Muslim Capitol Day.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, we just talked about it, actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Molly White and her comments.
Yep, that we started the show with that, and I'm really hoping that they show up to our little rally at the steps, because I have some things to say to her, and I would like to have a calm, rational discussion with Ms. White.
I think that woman that like interrupted that speech, she's from Michigan, actually. She came down to specifically protest that, I think.
Yeah, well,
she's the person who did like that monster devil camp or something. Yeah. Yep,
and she's living out of her car because her family says she's too crazy. So.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So it's not us, it's her. She's definitely the crazy one. So then on Saturday you're also on a panel. Is that correct?
Yes, I'm going to be on a panel with let me think. Amanda Knief, who's the managing director of American Atheists. Who else? Representative Donna Howard, who is a state rep from Austin, and she is a Christian, and she supports secular issues. So I'm very, very glad to be on a panel with her and to finally meet her, because I'm actually a big fan of hers.
She's excellent.
Is she?
Yes, she's also a strong proponent of reproductive rights.
Okay.
Yeah, another big thing of why I love Donna Howard. It's gonna be odd actually being on that panel, because I'm just gonna be sitting there thinking, all of these people are more important than me.
So just two last things. The other thing that we just talked about was that there's a new Pew Research poll that showed Democrats and Republicans and their attitudes towards religious groups. And there are three groups that Democrats in the country have negative opinions about: Muslims, atheists, and Mormons. So I think even with people who are our allies, we have a long way to go.
Yes.
And I'm glad we have allies like Representative Howard.
Yes, it's very glad to see those people, but also there are people in Congress who are allies of ours. I mean, what was it? The Secular Coalition for America said there's like 24 secret atheists in Congress. We all know what party they're from. We all know, but they just won't admit it. But who was it? Representative Beto O'Rourke from El Paso. He's a congressman who got an endorsement from the Free Thought Equality Fund, which is a secular super PAC. And they endorsed me as well, sent me some money to help fund my campaign, which was very helpful. And it's because of organizations like Free Thought Equality. It's because of people like Congressman Beto O'Rourke, who are not atheists, but are secular and are proponents of secular values of separation of church and state. Those are the people that we need to have more of in office. We need to freaking kick these people out who, like Mike Huckabee, who might be running for president again, who want, Christianity as the official state religion and want bans on sodomy again, or like Ted Cruz, who wants basically the judges and government officials to ignore the Supreme Court if it rules in favor of gay marriage. Yeah, and there's so much crazy stuff. I'm very anxious about late June when they hand down that decision. Yeah, because either way, it's going to be a roller coaster. I firmly believe, and we have a lawyer in the room, so this would be, this would be good. We talked about this before the Supreme Court agreed to hear it. And Jeff, I think the last time you were saying that they didn't hear it and that was a good sign. Is it a good sign that they're now hearing it? I think they have to now that one of the circuits has come down on the other side. They kind of have to do it. That they've signaled that was going to be the deal. Disappointed a little bit that the circuits actually went that way, but we'll see. It was honestly surprising to see the Sixth Circuit rule against gay marriage. That was the first one in ever, I think. Yeah. Right. And I think it was kind of a holdout. I think the Fifth Circuit was hanging on to do it. The Fifth Circuit, which is the circuit we're in, was probably the most likely to come down contrarian, but I was surprised it was the Sixth Circuit. On the Fifth Circuit, have you heard? The Fifth Circuit actually might come out in favor of gay marriage. I haven't heard that. I would be really surprised. We have 2 Reagan appointees and 1 Obama appointee on the Fifth Circuit bench that's hearing the case. And one of the Reagan appointees, at least according to oral arguments, might actually be voting down the marriage ban in Texas. So that's going to be such a wonderful day. I'm going to just when the Fifth Circuit rules in favor of gay marriage, I'm just going to cry tears of joy. And then I'm going to find all my gay friends, and I'm going to marry them because I'm ordained by an online ministry, and I can wed people all I want. That kind of marry. Okay. Yeah, no, he's not saying he's going to be polygamous. He's saying he's going to actually perform the ceremony. Right? So that's going to hurt your next campaign, buddy. Actually, that's what's funny about all these Supreme Court or the circuit decisions. They're striking down bans that specifically say marriage is between one man and one woman. While that doesn't technically say polygamy is legal, unofficially it kind of is. Right. That's what's funny. Is there anything else you want to make people aware of before we let you go, Daniel? No, that's about it. I mean, obviously, register for the Texas Secular Convention. Come see me on the steps of the Capitol and on that panel with Don Howard and others that I cannot remember at this time because whatever reason. I look forward to seeing you all there and finally meeting you all in person. Yeah, I'll be there, and I'm looking forward to meeting you. I think that the way we push forward as secularists, as atheists, is to get involved in the process. And I'm excited about this convention because
I think that's going to help us get there. So, I think you're a perfect fit for this because you've actually done the hard work. So I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say on that panel and on the steps of the Capitol, and we'll see you there.
All right. I will see you there.
Take care, and thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye. All right, we have almost no events, but Jay, you have an event coming up.
I absolutely do. Yeah, this Saturday, and we're actually going to be out there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But the cleanup that we're going to be doing, we're going to be targeting Saturday.
I'm not going to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but I'll come out on Saturday.
That's fine. We're most likely going to have a nice little party Saturday. Going to have a nice big bonfire out there on the beach. It's going to be a great deal. But what we're doing is we are cleaning the beach. We are going to. This is not a. It's not a premature. Don't look at me like that. It's not a premature announcement, but Burners Without Borders has filed the necessary paperwork, and we see absolutely no reason that we will not have the 6 miles south of Bob Hall as will be the official Adopt a Beach Guardians. We will have signs out there. We will be the Earth Guardians for the area. So we're going to be cleaning that up. We're actually going to be pulling a couple of vehicles out of the dunes.
Okay, sorry. Earth Guardian, go ahead.
Do you get little rings? If you combine them, does it call Captain Planet?
We are Captain Planet, God damn it. Fuck you all. But no, seriously, February 7th, we're going to be out there. You can visit Burners Without Borders Corpus Christi on Facebook or the Atheist Airwaves Facebook page. We've posted the link to it. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a whole lot of cleaning to do, and you want to have some fun, we're going to be back in the dunes pulling some shit out of there with some big trucks. It's going to be fun.
And if you'd like to support our show, patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves. You will not only help us get good equipment, spread our virus everywhere, but you also get access to our post shows. This week, what are we talking about? We're going to be talking about Jay's sex toys. I don't know what that's about, but
not my sex toys, but it's a question about sex toys
in general.
Okay.
And
other people's.
It's an interesting question. I'll pose it in the show.
Also, Vermont,
Latin thing, and an ISIS barbecue.
I've been just made aware that apparently our chat room is talking about taking out the monster lady. I don't know if that means to dinner.
Yes. I just, for any law enforcement officers listening to the show.
We just want to treat her to a nice dinner.
Little
and then never call her again.
Monster energy drinks and, nice and chilled. It'll be a nice gesture for a crazy Christian lady.
Now, you do realize that you called yourself an extremist in an interview.
I am an extremist.
That's probably a bad thing to say because it can be taken out of context and all that shit.
Whatever.
And of all the things that I say that you edit out, calling yourself an extremist in this atmosphere of everyone pointing the finger at atheist extremists and they're terrorists and blah blah blah, it's probably not the wisest choice you've ever made.
Words have definitions. I used the word correctly. I don't care. Anyway, let's move on.
Moving on. Val Kilmer.
Super great guy.
Absolutely. Top gun, baby.
Really smart.
Yeah, very, very smart.
Although,
a Christian scientist, a great prayer. Yep.
How old is he? He's got to be like 60, maybe?
At least 50s. At least 50s. I mean,
he's made it this far with just the power of prayer. So he's good at it.
So why not keep it up? Well, in this case, prayer failed him. Val Kilmer was rushed just this past week to the hospital with a tumor on his neck. He's denying any news of the tumor actually being there, and
it's just Willow.
You do that. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's been hiding Willow beneath the scarf.
No. Have you seen him recently? Because it looks like what is that? Total Recall with the little guy who was under the guy's shirt. That looks like he's got that guy on his neck.
Yeah, absolutely. It's horrible.
Val Kilmer.
I know that, but Willow,
it's a movie.
He was in Willow.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Fantasy movie.
Willow was a movie.
90s.
Okay, that explains
80s.
That explains my
late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. The little
George Lucas.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's about a little dwarf man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that. I was just like, what the hell am I talking about?
Well, anyway, Val Kilmer is a Christian scientist, and he tried to pray away his tumor, and it just didn't work. So he's still denying the existence of the tumor. And prayer apparently still isn't working. Rush into the hospital, choking, not able to breathe, spitting up blood. All not very good things
It's
have
not
to do
a
with the
tumor. It's not a tumor. So, according to Wikipedia, Christian Science is a set of beliefs and practices belonging to the metaphysical family of new religious movements. It was developed in the 19th century New England by Mary Baker Eddy, who argued in her book Science and Health that sickness is an illusion that can be corrected by prayer alone. And I just want to say that is a large, bulging, bleeding, oozing illusion on his neck.
I'll drink to that.
Oh. Careful with the mic. Don't spit on the mic.
It's probably a demon.
Oh, it must be.
Yeah, there you go. It's Satan.
He's being attacked by Satan.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
Satan is wearing
all
some
of us-
leggings and
all-
has attached himself to
All
Val
of us
Kilmer's neck.
unbelievers need to start praying for him in order to save him.
Okay, cool.
So he's denying that there's a tumor. He says, he released a statement that said, we are waiting for X-ray results and will pay close attention to my doctors advising my family and Christian Science practitioner when all the facts are in.
You gonna die.
Yeah. I just, and that's news to me that Christian Science practitioners are at all interested in facts. I mean, what fact do you need? Just God make this go away, right? I mean, Is there like different dosages of prayer that they can offer? What is it exactly they're waiting to see?
I think it's time for the venomous snakes.
Oh, okay. Well, you can drink poison and handle snakes if you're a Christian, so
I'm good with it. Let's see it happen.
Let's do it.
Actually, I'm cool with this. If Val Kilmer wants to kill himself like this, that's fine. Just don't do it to kids.
Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, fortunately, his two kids are adults now, so they made it.
Yeah.
But Christian Science practitioners, they kill kids.
Yeah. Hopefully his kids are like, dude, this is
Chemo.
serious. Yeah.
And it was actually members of his family who finally pulled the plug and said, "That's it, you're going to the hospital." They'd been encouraging him to do it all along, and this is probably going to cost his life. I mean, you don't know that he would have been able to have been treated, but as advanced as this is, I just think
He's gone.
it's probably not looking very good for him.
Yeah, and this is what Steve Jobs did, who I think was an atheist, but all kinds of woo, and so he didn't go for real treatment. He went for supplements and thought that's going to cure my cancer. And now he's dead. Same thing's going to happen to Val Kilmer.
Steve Jobs was Buddhist, I believe. Actually.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay. Which doesn't mean he wasn't an atheist, incidentally. But the family members also say that everyone who tried to intervene and say, look, it's great that you're praying, but you need an actual doctor, that he cut them completely out of his life every time. And I find that not at all hard to believe based on some of his statements in the hospital. He's been saying, that he appreciates people being sensitive to his stupid beliefs that are going to kill him.
Yay!
Cool.
Oh, Val Kilmer. Once upon a time, you were so pretty.
Right? He was such a good actor, too.
Yeah.
Tombstone. I mean, come on.
Say, wasn't he hacking and coughing to that?
There you go.
It
was a
That was
premonition.
acting.
How do you know? Maybe it's been around since then. So let's move on. Some people can sell anything. Of course, you kind of need silly people who are gullible enough to buy it. Say things like, getting your vagina steam cleaned.
Good Lord. As the only vagina owner at this table, I would just like to say, oh, good Lord.
So this new hot treatment apparently is, it's called a V-steam. You sit on a shitter that looks like a fancy chair, and some weird herbs are heated and blown at your vulva. It's supposed to help with like all sorts of stuff. Menstrual cycles, fertility, orgasms, blah, 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 whatever. There's like this whole long list of crap that it's supposed to cure. It's some ancient Chinese secret. According to some doctors, that's not actually the case, though. Just because some celebrities endorse
you're saying that doesn't work?
Shocking.
But there's herbs in it, Jay.
What can I say? The doctors say no.
But no, because this is just alternative medicine, and maybe the doctors just don't. Maybe they're being paid off by big pharma.
This is so true. You're right. They are totally being paid off by big pharma. Fuck off. So celebrities endorse it. That doesn't mean that it works. You're getting your fucking vagina steam cleaned here. Medical professionals have weighed in saying that A, it wouldn't even enter your vag, and B, it's probably more likely to render harm than good. It's weird. But it's okay. If you're a guy, you can have an A-steam as well.
I don't want to hear about this.
Oh, you can even have a party. You can have 6 friends join you for your A-steam. I'm not even joking. I love some of the commentary.
This is great because this is what Daryl Ray was talking about the first time he was on our show.
I don't remember him talking about this.
No, about boys going off in the shed and masturbating together. It's like this is how these kids grow up. So they're too old to go out into the shed to masturbate. So let's go get our asses steamed together, guys.
I love the comments that were.
Your breasts had something to say.
They're just so excited. They're like, "Can we get a T-steam?"
Magnetic personality.
The commentary cracked me the hell up. Okay, so Laura Hooper Beck, she writes an article for a magazine called Fast Company. She says, "I hover over the hole in a seat just so, and then settle down so that the steam may rise into that which is most sacred."
No, wait. I gotta back up way before this.
Okay,
because I've got all this the same thing. So. Just a couple of lines before that, she says, "I'm faced with what looks like a Victorian police cell toilet situated over a steaming pot of Grandma's chai spice vagina tea." What the hell is Grandma's chai spice vagina tea, and why do you want it near your vagina?
Apparently she doesn't. She went on to say, "At first it feels incredibly weird to have hot, wet air wafting into my cooch. My entire body tenses as I actively clench my vaginal muscles to protect myself from the invading shower of scorching steam." Yeah, that sounds comfy.
Totes. Yeah.
It would feel exactly like the poison fog from the Hunger Games arena, I think. First a burning heat, and then convulsion after convulsion of electric pain. Why would anyone pay for this?
Not every. You know what? Your mileage
Jay.
may vary. Did you watch the video attached?
Oh, hell no.
Oh, you didn't? That was the best fucking part. Oh my god. So this actress, I don't know who the hell she is, Kelsey Gunn. She did a video segment. Apparently she's got this online show. I guess it's like a vlog or some crap. It's called Dirty Little Beauty Secrets. I guess this is considered dirty. So she goes through this whole 6-minute video of how her listener told her to go do this, but don't look anything up about it. Just go do it at this spa. And she goes in there and she documents the whole experience. And some weird Chinese lady is like, "Yeah, this is what we do, and we're vagging we're steaming your
We're vagging your steam.
We're steaming your vaginal."
Hey guys, so
Oh, that's like 7 minutes long.
Yeah, it's
you
long.
watched 7 minutes of this vagina.
Dude, this is hysterical. This is fucking great. So
Jay watched every frame of that video.
Jay's like, "I really love vaginas."
man, she has some of the best. She actually didn't hate it. She says aside from her being incredulous once she found out what it was, she described it rather eloquently and beautifully. She says, "That's weird. That's like a blow dryer on my coochie. And it feels good on my lady taco."
Wow.
Who uses these words?
Very eloquent.
This woman. I love it.
That is
I
the
guess.
most
You gotta watch the
ridiculous
video, dude.
thing I've ever
It's
heard.
comical.
Hold on.
What's really amusing to me is that prior to Gwyneth Paltrow being an idiot, the only time I had heard of vaginal steaming was in order to induce abortion, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, in I think it was 8th century Sanskrit texts or something absurd. There was this practice where if you wanted to lose your baby, you would sit over a steaming pot and just let that
Well,
go.
that's kind of what the medical professionals were saying is if this were to somehow wind up through your vaginal canal, because you're just sitting on a chair and the hole is 5 inches in diameter.
Mm-hmm.
If this was somehow able, if they stuck a tube in you and injected you with hot steam, yeah, it would cause bad things to happen.
Yeah,
and, yeah. The old Chinese lady who was administering the procedure. I don't know.
Subjecting her to...
Well, she paid for it, so I'm not sure she was being subjected to it. I mean, anyway, she was like, "Yeah, it can do all sorts of things. It can help you with orgasms and help you with your fertility and blah." I mean, she just goes on this list of things it can help you do.
No.
I'm thinking,
You can claim anything, really. I've read articles that said women in New York were still crouched over a steaming pot when they wanted to induce abortion, in the early 20th century. Yeah. So go get a V-steam if you can't afford an abortion, apparently.
I want to know what the A-steam is supposed to do.
I do not want to know either of those things.
I don't want to try it. I just want to know what it's supposed to do.
I just keep. You can get burned. I mean,
yeah.
Those are
Steam is hot.
It's like a blow dryer on my coochie. That is not a good review.
No.
So that OBGYN Dr. Jen Gunter made a couple of good points. One being steam is probably not good for your vagina.
It's already a moist, warm environment. Thanks.
She also says if you want to feel relaxed, get a good massage. If you want to relax your vagina, have an orgasm. Maybe this is for women who can't have orgasms. Maybe that's what the V-steam's for.
I don't know. Ancient Chinese secrets. Apparently, I mean, there's got to be something to them if they're inducing abortions, right?
There you go.
I mean, it's better.
I mean, back in the Victorian era, there were therapists for women who had hysteria, and they would make them orgasm, and then they would go on home to their family, and they'd be so much more calm.
That seems like a really good business.
Yeah.
I have to imagine
a nice startup here. No.
I feel like the steam causing abortions thing couldn't possibly be effective. I feel like that would be as effective as managing your hormones by squatting over an herbal tea.
I don't know, if you damage your vaginal canal and your
That's
cervix
true.
enough, it could cause your body to do some shit.
But the doctor's saying it doesn't go up there. It's just giving you second-degree burns on your labia. That's all it's accomplishing.
I don't have one, so I can't weigh in on how you get things to go, like gaseous material inside of your vaginal canal.
I am voting to stop talking about this because I am so over even thinking about it.
I thought this was the best article we had.
And I'm so over it.
Next week, A-steaming in detail.
All right, so let's talk about something.
Research that for us, Jay.
Something less disturbing: measles. With the outbreak of measles that California is currently suffering through, some have made some tough decisions regarding anti-vaxxers and their children. Palm Desert High School this week kicked out all of the students who have not received their vaccinations after a classmate is suspected of having contracted the disease. The order affects 66 students at the school. I say bravo and well done. You know, maybe, and I have to say, like, besides the fact that you're protecting not just the unvaccinated students from getting this disease, which is not a nothing disease, but you're also protecting vaccinated people who, you know, I mean, because vaccines are not 100% effective. They're going to protect you most of the time, but herd immunity is what protects everyone, and why we don't see measles except when the Jenny McCarthyites get their hands on websites where, you know, they freak themselves out and stop paying attention to thousands of years worth of proven science. I'm almost kind of disheartened to think that that also the inconvenience of not being able to send their kids to school might be enough to push some parents over the edge.
Oh no, I read some interviews with some parents, and they were like, "Well, my kid got sent home because they weren't vaccinated," and I was like, "Well, fine, you'll take off the whole semester if you have to."
Really?
And it was like, "Really? Like you're just gonna completely ignore your child's education?"
I think
because
if they end up getting measles or some other communicable disease, then they need to be taken away from their parents. That's simple.
I think, you know,
I mean, if we're not going to force vaccinations, which we should,
Jay?
No. We should absolutely.
I do not think you should force anything on any human. I don't think you should force anything on any human.
The kids don't have a choice in this matter. They're being led by their parents. I think it really is for their own good.
No, I don't disagree with you, but I still don't think you should force anything on a fucking human.
If a kid does I did it to my kids. I made them get vaccinated. Mm-hmm. You know, they didn't have a choice. They were too young to have a choice in the matter. I think that if you're stupid enough to not get your kids vaccinated and they get sick, they get the measles, you should be charged.
Yeah, I agree.
And if they die, you should be charged for negligent homicide.
Yeah, I do think that there is so I'm going to acknowledge that Jay has some semblance of a point in that there is a slippery slope there potentially, where if we're just So I don't think vaccinations fall on this, but I think there is a danger where you start making kids, we start making mothers take, what was the flipper baby's pill?
Thalidomide. Yeah.
Wait,
Thalidomide, right.
what? Flipper baby? I missed a flipper baby?
You're a puppy.
Thalidomide. You got to look that up. It's great.
Don't look it up. Well, you might like it. Okay. But thalidomide, they used to prescribe it to mothers, and it would make flipper babies. And
They all came out with flippers?
yeah,
It made them into like half dolphins or half turtles or something?
something like that.
This is pretty good. Why is
Look
this
it up.
gone?
So Jay wants to force everyone to have flippers.
No, I'm just saying it's a good option.
Yeah.
If you like marine animals, I mean...
Circumcised or uncircumcised, flippers, no flippers, you just go through the thing. No, but I think that, we should not be cavalier about what we're requiring. But I think that after, the first inoculation occurred 1,000 years ago, I think we kind of understand, that vaccines are safe and they're much preferable to measles or smallpox or any of that stuff. I think this is basic healthcare at this point.
Vaccines are definitely effective. I'm not disagreeing with that on any stance, but forcing someone to I think it's a slippery slope, yes, but I just don't see the I mean, you're forcing someone to do something.
But a slippery slope is a fallacy. I mean,
No.
let's look at that. It is. A slippery slope is a fallacy.
It can be.
It is.
It can be. It's not always a fallacy.
When is it not?
When there is actually a slippery slope. There are things that happen. So not every slippery slope argument is a fallacy. This may be one. I'm just saying that I think that I'm having a difficulty coming up with a valid example, but I'm thinking about, and I don't know what the science says about Gulf War disease, but that's an example of potentially, I'll have to do some research, but potentially people being given a mandatory shot that may have had adverse effects. So that's what I mean. If we just say, you know what, we've decided this is right, and so everyone must do it, that could potentially be dangerous.
Sure, and I'm not saying that in terms of vaccinations, everybody recommends the flu vaccination. Not everybody gets it. I'm not saying that everybody has to take a flu vaccination, but I think in terms of measles, mumps, things where it really is.
Where's that line? If the flu vaccination isn't given, you can get the flu. And you can cause other people to get the flu,
and you can die.
People can die. So
and you
where's
can
the
die.
difference?
I think that measles and mumps are totally preventable if you have a vaccine.
The flu vaccine
isn't.
Highly effective versus sometimes effective.
We can't. So there are so many strains of flu that we cannot vaccinate for all of them.
Absolutely.
So the flu vaccine really is a guess. Every year they guess maybe this is going to be the one that's good, and they have like a 20 to 30% effectiveness rate. So it's not the same as measles was eliminated as...
it was almost completely eradicated. It was considered eradicated 10, 15 years ago,
Right. And then we had a whole bunch of, Val Kilmer people who think they know better than science.
I'm not going to continue arguing this because we're going to get into territory that you don't want me to enter on the show. So I'm just going to...
Well, thanks for letting us all know, Jay. I think that kind of we've got some Daniel Moran time to some tech difficulty time to do. So we could do one more story, I think.
Yeah, we can. Well, I've got two stories we can pick from. There's the Utah family that did
that's the only one we have. That's the only one we really have time for, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, there's also the other one, the hazard of being the psychic. We missed that one.
We missed a psychic? Oh, we did. Yeah, we can talk about that if you want.
I'll make it short. If you're claiming to be a psychic, don't foresee the future death of someone close to you and then poorly cover your tracks after you murder them.
Yes.
It's a bad idea.
Perhaps just don't make a bullshit prediction about someone you're about to murder.
That too. So Daniel Perez has now been charged with first-degree premeditated murder of a woman that was living on his compound. See?
Cult.
Compound. There it is again.
Damn it.
His little cult.
He's a cult.
While we're here, crazy dudes with supernatural powers living on compounds that are mostly women killing a bunch of people. Connection, maybe? Have we seen that a couple times in history?
I guess. But
Anyway.
I think it's more about, crazy, dudes tackle chicks, and so they want to have
Okay.
a bunch of chicks on their compound.
Anyway,
right? I mean, it's more of a sex thing than a cult thing, I think.
Okay, fair enough. This was originally ruled an accidental death, when they thought the woman had injured herself and drowned in a pool trying to rescue her daughter. They decided to take a closer look at it once the one of the children that was involved told them, "Oh, well, actually, he told me to go over here into this room while all this other crap happened, and I heard a scream and a this and a that, and he came back and his arms were wet and she was in the pool. Oh, and by the way, I had her daughter with me."
Well, it's even crazier than that.
It gets deep. It gets really deep.
I mean, so she's getting ready to testify that this 26-year-old mother came over to her. She was holding the 2-year-old, kissed her kid goodbye, turned to the other kid and said, "You know, I'm going to die, but I'm coming back to life in just a little while
I'm coming
here."
back
So
from the dead.
Cool.
And she's also going to testify that that this 26-year-old woman who's dead helped unfurl the pool vacuum thing that she supposedly tripped over when she knocked her head and drowned in the pool.
right, she was, yeah.
The fucking guy was crazy.
Well, but what do you say about this woman who was like, "Oh
she
yeah,
was like, I'm gonna go along with it because whatever, I'm gonna come back to life.
This is Manson-esque. I mean, this guy had to be really convincing or really terrifying.
I don't know, I just can't imagine."
He was pretty hot. I mean,
Jeff would do him.
we need to post his picture. I don't know how you can.
How you could resist
deny
that?
Yeah.
This dude was on the hook for a bunch of other crap too. I mean, I think there's identity theft, there's rape, exploiting a child, sodomy, insurance fraud.
They were. So a whole bunch of these cultists have wound up dead, and in fact, the commune is living off the life insurance policies
of like 4 of their dead members. Like there was a plane crash and an accident here and a this there and a that there. And beware the crazy folks.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
My.
I just don't understand how you get people to go along with that. I mean, and especially, like, I can kind of see if you're in a group and we're all going to do it, we're all going into the pool, we're all going to do it together. Like, I can kind of wrap my head around that, but, you know, the Pope coming down and saying, "Okay, no, just you, I'm going to wrap you up in the pool and kill you." But it's okay.
I'm going to bring you back to life.
Right? Promise. I know none of the other people will come back to life, but I
You're
figured it out
special.
this time, right?
Yeah.
Let's.
Who's doing that with kids? She has kids.
I mean, that's actually a good segue into the other story.
Yeah.
Might as well. So if you're gonna do it all. Do everything. All the people, which is what this family did. It was a Utah family, and
They did all the people?
they did all their own
Technically,
people,
yes.
technically, in the mob sense of the did word. The whole family's dead.
Spoiler alert, bro. What?
Jesus, you
Well,
are
they
the
go
worst
back.
storyteller ever.
18-year-old's still alive. There's a story in there somewhere. Basically, mom and dad were afraid of the apocalypse or impending doom or some crap like that. Made a poison Kool-Aid cocktail, fed the kids the Kool-Aid cocktail, arranged their bodies next to them before they drank it. And yeah, the 14-year-old apparently left a note and all his belongings to his best buddy because he knew he was going to die. Yeah, do it all.
Yeah, again, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing. Like, I've had problems talking to my child about death. And
I'll talk to him about death.
to not just talk up to your 14-year-old about death, and no, you're not going to talk to my kids about anything. But to actually explain to your 14-year-old, "I'm going to kill you." But it's okay because you're going to totally avoid the whole Armageddon apocalypse thing.
No. You don't say I'm going to kill you. You say you're going to meet Jesus.
Yeah.
That's how
You're
you do
going
it.
straight to heaven. Good news.
I guess.
You got to put a
maybe.
positive spin on it, buddy.
Hello.
I'm just not good at this stuff.
This is why he's the worst atheist leader. I think we need to replace him. Obviously.
Get someone who's better with the Kool-Aid.
Start with the compound.
Yes.
Have you never killed a child?
Charismatic.
Jeez.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll step down. I mean, I can't promise I'm going to be drinking the Kool-Aid, but I mean, I'll give it. I'll be fair and I'll give it a fair shot.
You'll take a sip?
Yeah. just a sip, just to see what it feels like. I see.
Yeah, I saw what you did there. That was good. That was good, buddy. That was good.
Let's wrap it up and go to the post show.
Okie dokie. So thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves. We are sponsored by Corpus Christi Atheist and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. If you want to compliment, complain, tell us a story, just have something you'd like to have us hear or talk about, write us at god@atheistairwaves.com. And thanks to Tombstone the Dead Man for our outro music. Please don't forget to visit patreon.com/atheistairwaves. You can donate just a little bit of money and get access to our post show.
And hear whatever weird thing Jay's going to talk about sex toys. Maybe at this point you don't want to hear it, but...
No, you do. I promise.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. See you guys next week.
Being a skeptic means so much more than being an atheist. And until you accept that, you won't relate to this. That cognitive dissonance that you experience is when there's things you claim to believe in but ain't living it. Most of you say you are the type to question everything until I hear the conspiracy theories that you're echoing. And when I scrutinize the things you try to say are lies, expose your sources as suspect, I see your logic dies. Some still believe in pseudosciences, engage in special pleading when theists use the exact same reasoning. I've even seen atheists use arguments from ignorance and seem pressed to tell me exactly just what the difference is. A skeptic without the ability to analyze is just as bad as the theist because he'll probably accept a lie. Just as long as it verifies all his biases, applying it to his knowledge pool, and then he's diving in. So I'm not saying that some conspiracies do not exist. I'm just saying that a lot of them are some bullshit. So I'ma call a spade no matter who asserts it. Nobody's perfect and just one lie, then it's all perverted. Bring down the curtains on that sad display. The only ways to question yourself and all the things you say. Start the day. And maybe we can rise above and be examples for others to emulate, and that's the way we win this battle. So this is where I'm making my stand, and now regardless who don't like it or how they get mad, see how the rest of y'all capitulate and go with the plan. I'll be beating on this wall until I'm breaking my hand. So listen while I state official policy. No matter how I'm threatened with hell, they never silence me. I know that you don't see this as imperative, but I refuse to lose and let the stupid frame the narrative.
Yay, house payments. Let me stop.
Yay.
Ooh.